Come join me on Monday, October 14th at the Belglade Country Club for the VPSD Firefighters Thanksgiving Day Dinner Fundraiser. We're going to party from 6 p.m. until they throw us out with the music of Crimson Sunset as they rock to the music of the 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. So come on out and support our firefighters. If you'd like to help with the fundraiser or with providing dinner to the firefighters, contact me at goldwingnut.com/Thanksgiving or email me at thanksgiving@goldwingnut.com. We'll see you there.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Don, and this is Gold Wingnut Live. Look at this. We've already got a couple of questions in the queue. So first off, Jerry, thank you. I appreciate the kind comments. I try and help any way I can. I got my boy Sully back here in the background. You can see his butt. That's about it. Let's see. Retired message says, Don, my closing day is fast approaching. I arrive November 1st. Is it too late to register to vote in the November 5th election? I believe it is. I go to sumterelections.org, and that will tell you the exact date. That's the Supervisors of Elections website, and they have all the necessary information there. Let's see. Ronald says, hi, Don. Can you tell me why when I look for verandas on the village's website, it always says none? That's an easy question. They're extremely popular and they get snagged up. You know, when I moved here 10 years ago, they didn't have verandas. So the first thing they always built was courtyard villas. And the courtyard villas, when they came out, they were snatched up. And it was because of the two P's, privacy and pets. Verandas and courtyard villas, what they have in common is they have a fenced-in yard. And if you have dogs, like I do, and one of them is, well, she's just laying here on the floor and being very good. But if you have pets, then a fenced-in yard is such a blessing. I mean, first thing we did was we put in dog doors, both in the sliding glass door and in the lanai, so that the dogs could do their business when needed. And we didn't have to worry about always being home, because back then, Debbie and I were both working. Debbie was working down at Disney World, and I was working either in Fort Lauderdale or in Gainesville every day. The other is privacy. You know, many of the homes have what they call kissing lanais. Basically, you've got a 10-foot easement between your property line and the house, and literally the lanai backs right up to the property, to the easement line, and your neighbors right behind you have the same thing. So, you know, you have the conversation. So the courtyard villas and the verandas, they don't have that problem because they do have the fenced-in yards. So that's why you don't see verandas. They're a little more popular now than courtyard villas because they are basically designer homes. So I hope that answers your question. I know it's not the one you want. The best thing I can tell you is don't rely on the website. Go talk to a village's agent and tell them what you're looking for, and, you know, go from there. Today's episode is sponsored by Garage Skins. It's a product. It's not a new product, but it's new to the village's area. There's a couple of homes with them already. Basically, it's a magnetic cover for your garage door, and you can make it look like a wooden door, and they have about a dozen different options. So take a look at their website, garageskins.com. They're actually out of, I think it's Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So they're way up there where it's cold. Sandy, I'll get to yours in just a second. Ebb 2000, about 35-40 minutes ago, 149 came out. It's up on YouTube now. So Sandy says, thanks for being a judge at yesterday's chili cook-off. Great chatting with you. Stay safe with Milton. Well, thank you. Yeah, Milton is definitely going to be a challenge. they're saying it's the first time in 100 years that a hurricane is going to slam straight into Tampa, which isn't good because the Tampa Bay area is very low lying. I have many friends down there because the office I used to work in before I retired was out of Tampa. The chili cook-off. So yesterday, I was a judge for a chili cook-off over in the village of St. Catharines. I know quite a few people over there. Some are customers, some are friends that I've made over the years. All great people, and that is really a very active community. They had a chili cook-off, and I got to be one of the judges. There was 5 judges, some very good chilies. Some I liked better than others. Obviously, that's why I was judging, and they were very good. My digestive tract. Last night after I got home, I took a couple of Tums just to make sure, because it was a little bit much for my system. Not used to eating spicy foods much anymore. Let's see. Tammy says, hello from Wisconsin. We'll be heading down to the villages in 2 weeks. Can't wait to move in our new home in Moultrie Creek. Well, congratulations. Yeah, you're going to love it. Moultrie Creek is where I bought my second house. If you watched video number 137, I was talking about the place to buy for the next 5 years here in the villages is the Moultrie Creek, Shady Brook, Water's Edge, Lakeview area. It's just, you're sandwiched between Middleton and Eastport. I can't remember the name of these places sometimes. I got so many things zipping around upstairs. Anyway, being sandwiched between the two is just going to make it an incredible place for growth. The first restaurant in the area has opened up. That was Boosters. It opened up about a week and a half ago. Had their ribbon cutting earlier this week. Been there once. We'll be back. Like the food. It's nice to have a place to go get something to drink. Of course, right now it's still a bit of a drive. It takes 45 minutes by golf cart to get there, and about 20 minutes by truck or car, however you want to call it, to get there from where I live. But it's still not bad. Let's see. Mark Edwards says lots of those new palm trees will be coming down with Milton. Mark, you're probably right. We're probably going to lose a few. Most of them are still shored up. They have bracing on them. So who knows what's going to happen. It's going to be an interesting couple of days coming up. Let's see. Tammy says, is there a grocery store near Moultrie Creek? We are so excited to get down there. So I'm going to say not yet, but it is coming. If you watch 149, where I do my flyover over Middleton, you can see where they've started on the parking lot and some of the drainage for the area that I believe is going to be a grocery store, and that's based on the footprint that they showed on drawings. Compare that to footprints on other drawings, it's a grocery store. I mean, there's no doubt about it in my mind. There's one there. There's going to be one in Eastport because they both have similar footprints. If I had to guess, based on the footprint, I would call it a Walmart neighborhood market, but I'm not going to guarantee it. Obviously, until something gets published, we're not going to know for sure. But it does look like they're working on it. Middleton Drive is now open. Going through Middleton, the developer is moving into their new office down there. Their new office is diagonal from the Citizens First Bank that opened up. So they spent all last week moving in. I'm sure they're going to take a few more days to move in. They had a lot of office space in Brownwood. I don't know what's going to happen with the Brownwood facility. I know that the Street of Dreams The district government is moving down there to the Street of Dreams building. They possibly could take over some more of the developers' space in the building next to it. It just depends on what they need. So Jim says, "Hey Don, can you explain the water control in the villages? I hear the water drains into a lake south, and it is at least 100. Sorry, I gotta adjust my bifocals here. And it is 100-year flood level, and now the villages will have to flood the golf courses." Okay, Jim. So, the golf courses are used to help percolate the water and dissipate it. The retention pond system, basically south of the historic district, is designed for a 100-year storm. North of, or in the historic district, I believe it's a 25-year storm. So it doesn't take a whole lot to flood them out. But even then, they got pumps to help move the water around. So the water starts to drain, they pump it to the golf courses, and the boulevards on the main roads. Pretty much any of the public areas are tied into the same system for removing this water and pumping these ponds down. The golf courses were designed and are included in the Southwest Florida Water Management District's plans for flood control. Anytime that you put down impervious material, that's houses, roads, concrete, whatever, in the state of Florida, you've got to make up for it with retention ponds and some other way to get rid of the water, just to keep flooding from happening. So they have the ability within the various zones to move water around from one retention pond to another. This allows them to make the pump system a little more simplified. They don't have to have a pump to the sprinkler system from every pond. They're able to move water around to some of the bigger from the smaller ponds to the bigger ponds, and vice versa, to allow a centralized system. They can't move water from up north to down south, and they can't move it across the turnpike. Basically, as the villages has been built in phases, so have the zones been for the water management district, or excuse me, not water management district, but the sprinkler system and the dissipation of the water. It's a very good system. It's unique. It is nationally recognized as one of the best control systems in the country for controlling this kind of water drainage. Part of the reason it even exists, though, and it doesn't exist in other communities normally have 2, 3, 4 builders, different developers doing different phases. Here, with one builder, one developer, there's no conflict of, well, I'll build this for my houses, but not for yours, and all this. No, for them, it's all one system, and then it's eventually turned over to the community development district. Let's see. Mark says, with no electricity, the pumps are useless. That would be true, except all the pump systems have backup generators and several. I think it's 3,000. It's the last number I remember hearing. 3,000 gallons of diesel fuel for the generators there. So they are well prepared for running these things. When Irma came through 7 years ago, wow. We had a lot of power outages. The sprinklers continued to run. So it is, it's a good system and it works. There was some negative aspects that happened after Irma. A couple of the golf courses, the ones between 44 and 466A, and that would be Belglade, Bonifay, and Evans Prairie, they were really saturated. They got water for like a month. It weakened the root systems in the in the grass on the fairways and the greens and that. So after they got the water levels down to the manageable level, Then the courses still had to stay closed for another month to let the sod get healthy again and the roots get stronger. And what most people fail to realize is that that was commercial property. The championship courses, they use the executive courses too, but they also use the championship courses. When they're using the championship courses, they're closed. Okay, there's no revenue coming in. Maybe at the restaurant or whatever, but there's no golf revenue coming in. But they still have to staff. And the bill that I know Evans Prairie sent the district government a bill for exactly $0 for the lost revenue. The developer doesn't look to make any money off of that. That's just part of the plan for this community. My Florida 75, or M Florida 75, says at Morrison 44, it appears the village is putting up signage. Yes, I saw that yesterday. Do you know if this is just a welcome to the villages? If so, odd, since Chitty Chatty has been done for a very long time. Yeah, Chitty Chatty's been done for, I want to say, 3 or 4 years now. I don't know what the sign is going to say. This used to be real easy to figure out. I can go on the county website, look at the permits, and that the county website, that functionality no longer exists. The software that they were using had security holes in it, so we had to move away from it. Anyway, I don't know what the sign's going to say. I'm looking into that. That's one of the many things on my to-do list. Let's see. Good to go says just moved into Shady Brook a few weeks ago, right on the water. A little nervous about flooding with the hurricane. No, don't worry about it. I wouldn't be. I have a house right on one of the retention ponds in Moultrie Creek. And yeah, after it rains, I can definitely tell the water level's up, but I'm not worried about it. The system works. It has proven itself time and again. It's designed for a 100-year flood. When Irma came through, they said it was a 150-year incident that happened, which means that it was a greater magnitude, and so it happens less often. And the system still had reserve capacity. You're going to see high water levels in those retention ponds, but they'll bring them down as quick as they can. Let's see. Mark wants to know, have you played the new executive course? No, I have not. I have not played Laurel Oaks. It looks interesting. I think, based on my aerial flights, that they built it far enough away from the turnpike that the cars are safe from when I hit the ball. But I have been known to hit a ball at a 90-degree angle from the fairway. Anyway, no, I intend to get out there and play it as soon as I can. I normally play golf on Saturday. This Saturday, what was going on? Phil Montalvo, who is running for city council in the city of Wildwood, had a political event at Saluki. I went to that in the morning, and then Lucky You motorcycle shop on 301 was opening their new facility, so I went to that. And then what did I do last night? Oh yeah, a chili cook-off judging. Yeah. Hey Jerry, nice to see you on. And hey, it's one of my favorite shirts. It's great. So let's talk about Phil just a second. You see his ad popping up. Phil is running for city council in the city of Wildwood. Right now, about 80% of the population of the city of Wildwood is in the villages, those areas south of 44. They only have one representative, Joe Elliott, who is a village's resident. And so, we don't really have good representation. Phil is a very knowledgeable individual, and I think he's going to be an outstanding choice. He's been a district supervisor in CDD, I think it's 12, because he lives over in Linden. Excuse me. So, obviously we need to get better representation of the villages in Wildwood's City Council. Right now, it's 4-1. If there's something we need, it might be a challenge to make happen. Oh yeah. Oh, Jerry, you had to remind me. So Jerry and I are playing in a golf tournament next week. Wish us luck. My game has really fallen off. I've been so busy. So hopefully, by the way, I hope the sound is a little bit better than it has been in the past. I got a friend of mine told me, hey, I hear a lot of bumps and everything. So as I talked about last week, I got a new microphone mount. It hangs from the ceiling now. Let me see if I can bring it in. Oh, yeah. Whoop. Oh, come on. There we go. Here, I'll just switch cameras. There it is. There's my microphone, and it hangs from a boom. And I'll get it back up out of the way. Anyway, hopefully it sounds a little bit better. Let's see. Oh, okay. Sorry. The other thing is, no watch. I always bump my watch on the desk, and it always makes a lot of noise. Mark says, is Middleton really planned for 8,000 homes? We'll need way more schools. So, yes, that is the current plan, a little over 8,000. It's like 8,300 homes for the family section. They probably will be building some additional schools if that continues to build out. That is long term. We're talking that's going to take 8,000 homes here in the villages. That's 2.5 years. Middleton, my guess is 10 to 15 years to build that many homes. So it's going to take a while. It has its advantages. I've been over at my other house and been, taking a break from some of the things I've been doing over there and sitting out on the lanai and see kids going by on their bicycles and that. It's kind of, I didn't realize I missed it. But it's kind of nice to hear kids laughing and playing. And it's not bad. But it's not something I'm overly worried about. These are, when you look at the people moving there, most of them have one family member at least that is working for some entity in the villages that gives them access to the charter schools. And, so they're making a big sacrifice for their children to go to these charter schools because they are some of the best in the state. And that filters down. The parents' part of the charter schools is they have to be involved. I think they got to do like 40 hours a year or something like that per child. It's some crazy number of hours, but they have to be involved. And they, that's not just, I'll go work at the concession stand at the football thing. Now you got to mix it up. Classroom time, various activities that, parental involvement. It truly is the key to a good education today. Victoria, thank you so much. As always, you're always so generous every week. Appreciate it. Let's see. Hi, Don. How much estimate does it cost to have your garage floor done? Talking about doing ours when we get there. So it depends. There are different ways to have it done. The most common way is an epoxy paint that they put down. That depends on the paint that they use, the pattern, and the contractor. And that's anywhere from from what I understand, $1,500 to about $5,000. Also, the size of your garage makes a difference. I use the Black Dog garage floors, which is I think it's 3/8 inch thick tile that they put down. It was I'm going to say about $1,700 to do a 2-car plus golf cart garage, and I like it. Excuse me, for me, I get the hiccups. For me, it was the hello Lily, hey baby, my girl Lily right here. Oh, she's going to hide. Okay. Sorry. For me, it was the right choice. I ride a motorcycle. I have seen people put their side stand down on the epoxy floor and just peel a piece of it up. So, there are other ways that can be done. You can have it etched and painted. But figure on, between $1,500 and $3,000 to have it done. Do you need it done? No, it's purely decorative. I don't have it done in my current home, but it's a personal preference. Let's see. Ebb 2000 says maybe the sign on Morrison 44 is a welcome to Wildwood. Well, probably not. I mean, something like that. That would have showed up on the agenda in the city of Wildwood, and I didn't see that in my review of them. I look at those on a regular basis when they come out, just like I still look at the county commission agendas. So where are we at on time? Wow, we are almost a half an hour into it. So I wanted to touch on something. If you were here last week, you'll remember that right towards the end of the show, my phone rang. I said, I'll get it later. I ended up calling that back. It was a very sad call. A friend of mine, Peggy Gavin, she passed away. You may have seen it in the Village's News. Her obituary was in the newspaper today. A very nice lady, very active in many social clubs here in the Villages. She was our vice president and treasurer for the Drone Flyers Club. This past summer I was heavily involved with the election, and without her holding the club together, it would have fallen apart. And she will be greatly missed. She was a resource. She was a friend, and I will miss her dearly. My heart goes out to her spouse Wendy. It's unfortunately just a part of the community that we live in. Let's move on. I apologize. Let's see. BB says moved here from SoCal, Southern California, year ago to the Villages, Lake Denham. Can you share your thoughts on Milton now saying the potential Category 5 a little farther south? It's a fluid situation. Wow, I hadn't heard Cat 5. I heard Cat 3 a little while ago when I checked, and if it comes barreling in like that, we're going to get a lot of rain. I mean, if it continues its track heading towards Tampa, I don't know what to think. The last one that really hit us was Irma, and it came through pretty good, but nothing like this one looks like it's going to. Irma came up through the Florida Peninsula from south to north, so it lost a lot of energy. This coming in straight off the Gulf of Mexico through the narrow part of the state, through Tampa and that, it's going to be packing a lot more energy. So, hold on to your hats. Hopefully, my birdcage will weather the storm as well as it did during Irma. I had just finished my pool. T&D had built it. I just signed the paperwork 2 days before Irma came through. And in the middle of the night, we lost power and the winds were howling and I heard stuff going everywhere. I heard stuff bouncing off the roof. I figured my brand new pool and birdcage is going to be shredded. And it wasn't. There wasn't a single hole in the screen. I was amazed. Biggest thing was a bunch of missing shingles, and that's about it. Let's see. Bill says, Don, is flood insurance required on your homeowners if you have a lot that is on a retention pond? We got picked in the lottery for a pond lot in Wellpoint. Curious if we will have to add that. No, it is not required. I live on one of those retention ponds also. The one I live on, well, I don't live on there, my house is on, is about 3/4 of a mile long. It's big. But I did not get flood insurance. I am not in a flood zone. Now, my next door neighbors to the left, their part of their driveway is in a flood zone, so they have to. It's really screwed the way it's drawn. Hopefully, that'll get revised by FEMA for all the areas that have been built up by the villages. BB says, sorry about your loss. It wasn't just my loss. There was a lot of people that lost with Peggy. She was very active in the LGBT community. She was active in a lot of things. And she really was an incredible person. Let's see, BB asks, what are roof max wind speeds here? I don't remember. They are built to the revised Florida hurricane codes. Everything is in the villages. Excuse me. Sorry, out of coffee, so Diet Dr. Pepper. I was in southeast Georgia when Andrew came through back in, oh my gosh, was it 92, 93? And it was pretty devastating what happened down in Homestead. So Florida has revised their codes several times since then. And, if you lose some shingles, lose some shingles, but you're not going to lose your roof around here. Any talk of evacuating the villages? Nope. That has not come out. I keep a close eye on that on the county's website, and nope, nothing's been put out about that. If it does get put out, I'm sure we will all be hearing about it. It will be all over the place. All right. Let's see. Where are we at here? All right. We talked about Peggy. So nobody's got any questions right now. So I got a couple of things that came out in the news over this week. For those of you who live in Hammock at Finney, let me see if I can pull up the map. Let me switch to this. So Hammock at Finney there's Marsh Bend. There it is. All right. So this is Hammock at Finney. It goes, basically you come in on Finney Way and you hang a right and it goes down by Red Fox and Gray Fox. And one of the things that came out is, and it's been a question for a long time, is this is Reeder Path, okay? And you can see how the road down here, let me see if I can blow this up a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so at the end of Reeder Path, there's an open lot. Villages doesn't leave open lots. And it looks like they made provisions for roadway through there. And, with the thought of, okay, they're going to continue to expand. This path, excuse me, wow. All right, my throat's getting hoarse. This past week, the villages filed to de-annex that property from the city of Wildwood. The hammock at Finney is in the city of Wildwood. Finney is in the city of Wildwood, so on and so forth. That they're de-annexing it out of the city of Wildwood tells me that there's a change in direction, a change in plans. So not sure what's going to happen. That was in, let me see, what days was that in? I got several newspapers on my desk here. Yep, there it is. I'll go back to the other camera. This was Friday's newspaper, and on the back of the local news, you saw this. Let me see if I can get that close. Oh, wait, I got to get the right camera. You can see that, and I'm not good at working backwards. Right there. That's the area that they're talking about de-annexing. Anyway, enough of that. There's another area that they're de-annexing also. Go back down, and we go down here, and they're not, okay, there it is. And if I remember right, it is this piece right here. Oops. I did it again. Let's go back to the other screen. Okay. So here's Moultrie Creek and Well Point. This is Middleton. The school is right around here. Way over in here, there's a section of land, about half of this piece of square sticking out. They're de-annexing it also. I don't have a good understanding why. They've been buying up that land for a while. So they've got something up their sleeve, and my sources aren't talking to me yet. So, but if you look on a map, the dark green area, that's the footprint for the villages thus far, going south, and only a very small portion of it right there has been developed. So we got another 20 years worth of growth. All right. Let's go back to the other camera. All right. So that's that. Let's see. What else was in the newspaper? Oh yeah. If you saw this in the paper, okay, this is for the phone directory, okay? The days of AT&T, Ma Bell, whatever you want to call it, 9X, putting out the phone book with everybody's phone number in it are gone, because hardly anybody has a landline. We got rid of our landline about 7 or 8 years ago, and it's just been cell phones, and that's pretty much all it is. So how do you make a phone book? It's difficult. The Villages makes one. When you bought your house, you gave me your name and phone number information, and signed a little form, said, yeah, put it in there. If you've moved, you got a new phone, anything like that, they have no way of keeping up. Go to the website. What is the website? Don should have wrote the website down. You've got until November 1st to make the change. And you can email VMG Victor Mike Golf.phonebook at thevillagesmedia.com. I'll put this up on the description of the video after we go off the air today. Anyway, you can update your information if you're new here, new cell phone, whatever. It's a good way to get yourself back in the phone book. I know most people say, well, I'll just go look it up online. Nah. Some of these reverse phone books, reverse lookup, 411.com, yellowpages.com, they don't give you good information, and they show you 50 people with the same name. So it's like, okay, this is a good thing. I'm going to update mine because I looked in the phone book that just came out, and it had my old work cell phone number. It was a 813, 317, whatever it was, whatever 813 phone number in it, which was my old work phone from when I worked out of the Tampa office. So that's something to definitely do. What else? Oh yeah, in the classified section of that's one about Peggy. I save things. My wife drives my wife crazy. In the classified section of Thursday's paper, there was information about landowner elections. Okay. The landowner elections, let me find the right section here. Landowner elections, October 18th from 9 a.m. at the Everglades Regional Rec Center. CDDs 13, 14, and 15 will be taking nominations for district supervisors in the landowner elections. I think a friend of mine, Mark, is, and he's a common guest on here, and I got a question from him to go over today, is looking for to put himself in for District 15. This is how the residents move into control of their CDD. If you're interested, all 3 CDDs, the same time, October 18th, 2024, 9 a.m., Everglades Recreation Center. And let me just make sure of that. October 18th, 9 a.m. And yes. Yep. So yes, for the 3, there's also some for Eastport and Middleton A, which is the residential district. So that's coming up. It's a good way to get involved with the management, if you will, of the community that you live in. To me, it was a rewarding job. Know that your phone will be ringing, that you will be getting emails. People will be getting upset with you because they don't agree with something, or I don't know, somebody left dog poop in their yard, and I can't tell you the number of times I got phone calls about somebody leaving dog poop in somebody else's yard. I can't help you on that one. Anyway, wow. Let's see here. I had the phone book. We talked about Hammock at Finney. We talked about the landowner elections. We talked about Peggy. I got all the newspaper things taken care of that I wanted to today. Still no questions. Yep, Mark Morgan who is planning to run for CDD 15. So, on that note, since Mark is on there, well, let's go to Mark's question. I gotta get where's my PowerPoint? Questions, there it is. All right. So this is Mark's question. He's showing the newspaper clipping that came out this week for Villages Public Safety being 25 years old. It's amazing. He says, Mark says, what are your thoughts on the creation of the VPSD Dependent District versus VPSD merging with Sumter County Fire and EMS? It was a right and necessary decision to ensure the separation of the 2 fire departments. I understand that there is economies of scale that might be lost, but we have 2 very good-sized fire departments with 9 or 10 stations each, very similar in size, but there's some fundamental differences in what the services are that each fire department is providing. And it is very difficult to justify billing everybody the same thing in their property tax, taking the money from the general fund of the property tax and dividing it between 2 fire departments, and the 2 fire departments giving different levels of service. Some would feel slighted, saying, well, I'm paying the same amount as they are, but they're getting more services. So the way you fix that is you separate the two fire departments, you separate their funding. And that's what's happened with the dependent district. The two fire districts now are separate. That does not mean they work in a vacuum. The two fire departments work together. We have two very good fire departments. Chief Hansen and Chief Tweese, very capable gentlemen running our two fire departments. I have total respect for both these gentlemen, as well as all of our firefighters. But with the different levels of service, we had to separate it. Unfortunately, one of the things that has come out, and it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, was that the villages, because they represent about 85% of the property tax values in the county, were paying the lion's share of operating costs for the county, and they probably have the lion's share of expenses. But when we separated the two fire departments, we had two fire departments of similar size budgets and vastly different tax pools to draw the funds from. So county residents have been they've been shocked by the increase in their fire assessment. There's a couple of lawsuits pending because some RV parks are upset about what they've been assessed. They're saying it's not fair. They try and bring a comparison between two Walmarts. One pays $45,000, the other one pays $200,000 or whatever it is in annual fire assessment, and it just happens to be where they live or where they're physically located. That's unfortunately the way it works. Anyway, you know what? I'm going to see if I got any coffee left. So let's take a very short break and.
Come join me on Monday, October 14th at the Belglade Country Club for the VPSD Firefighters Thanksgiving Day Dinner Fundraiser. We're going to party from 6 p.m. until they throw us out with the music of Crimson Sunset as they rock to the music of the 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. So come on out and support our firefighters. If you'd like to help with the fundraiser or with providing dinner to the firefighters, contact me at goldwingnut.com/Thanksgiving or email me at thanksgiving@goldwingnut.com. We'll see you there.
All right. Hey, guess what? My wife made me a fresh pot of coffee. She takes good care of me. So hey, about the fundraiser coming up next Monday. Wow, the 14th. It's coming quick. Again, Crimson Sunset is going to be the band that's playing. They were playing last night at the chili cook-off or chili contest, and they were pretty good. I really enjoyed the music. I'm looking forward to hearing it again. It's going to be at Belglade. I talked to Fred, excuse me if I get it wrong, Karmapori, I believe is how he pronounces his last name. He is the owner of FMK Restaurants. He has come up with a limited menu. So because we're basically taking over his restaurant, so and his parking lot, and we need to support our local businesses. So if you're interested in going, call ahead, make a reservation at Belglade. The event starts at 6. We'll be starting to set up at 5. It'll go till 8:30 is when I plan to show video number 150. So the band will play after that until they throw us out. Um, so anyway, yeah. So if you're going to go, and it's a good place to eat dinner. I love Belglade. It's got the best view of any golf course or of any country club. What you call it? Shallow Creek and Boosters. Great view. Can't compare though to Belglade. It is definitely, absolutely the most gorgeous. All right. So we got a couple of things. What came in here? Sharon Lee says, "Why are all the new construction pretty much looking the same?" So, interesting question. It's a development. Okay, there is a limited number of floor plans that they use. There's about 25. They have certain architectural standards. They want the communities to look somewhat uniform. I say that, but if you drive through the villages and you go from south to north or north to south, you will see marked differences in some of the houses. In the Shady Brook area right now, and in Moultrie Creek, there's really a lot of differences in some of the houses because they're building some of the newer floor plans which have different characteristics. They're also allowing the building of premier homes on some of the larger lots of the as designer homes. So you're getting a bit of a different mix, but there is a I want to say Stepford. No, there is a desire to keep it looking relatively consistent. When I look at either of the two communities that I own houses in, they're courtyard villas. They're different. The homes are different, but they're all in the same style range. Same thing with the veranda home I have down in Moultrie Creek. Everything except for one house is all pastels. In the outside, different floor plans, but not too bad. Let's see. Pat says, I'm noticing more than usual advertising for rentals. Does this mean rental demand is going down or too many places available? Right now, people are pushing the rentals because snowbirds are coming back, seasonal residents are coming back. This is the time they start pushing rentals really hard for those people that still have properties available. I guess I don't know if Karen, are you on today? Karen owns Rent from a Villager, and she basically arranges the rentals for residents who own houses or who are looking to rent houses. I know her business is very good, but the community is getting bigger, and as it grows, there's more and more rental properties available. What's amazing though is that they're renting, and they're renting at some pretty good rates. Let's see. Let's see. Tammy says, if I want to put a small palm tree in my front yard, do I need ARC approval? What about the backyard? Generally, I'm going to say in the backyard, no. Front yard, yes. Part of the reason is they want to make sure that you're in compliance with the setbacks. The last thing you want to do is put a tree in, have it there a year or two, and the power company comes in and says, well, you're in the setbacks. You need to move it now. So, okay. So just go through the ARC. It's not a difficult process. Just tell them what you want to do, what you're going to plant there, and most of the time it passes through real quick. Let's see. Mark says, when you take office, how will that change how you talk about county issues on your live stream? Good question, Mark. Obviously, I have to be cautious of Florida sunshine laws. I can discuss what the issues are. I can discuss actions that have been taken. What I won't do is discuss how I'm going to vote on an issue, or I've been at this a long time, so 10 years. So I know the things I can and cannot say, but you'll see me biting my tongue a little bit more though than I do now. So we have to. And if you're going to be on District Gov, you're going to be dealing with the same sort of thing anytime you talk. So yeah, it presents extra challenges, and it's going to take a little more caution on my part. Greg R says, do you know if the garage skins are hurricane rated, or do you need to take them down and prep for the storm? Well, Greg, you know what? I'd take them down. They'll take you 10 minutes to take the whole set down. Stack them up in the garage and close the door, because when you're talking 75, 80, 90 mile an hour wind, anything is possible. So just take them down. It's not that difficult to do and easy to put back up. Let's see. Sharon Lee says, are there rules to actually how much you can elevate your home in the villages? So I'm assuming, Sharon, you want to build your home up higher. You want to add a few inches for, let's say, protection from flooding. That's all already been planned out with Lily. Thank you. I really don't want your bone. She's trying to give me a bone. But it's already planned out with the Water Management District. They know the elevations. And this happened, if you're building a house today, it happened a year and a half, 2 years ago that they had all these approvals done. So, adding elevation changes the drainage, taking away elevation obviously has its downfalls also. So you really can't change it. You're pretty much stuck. We were talking about VPSD and the Sumter County Fire District, and their separation. So one of the things that came out of the separation of the two fire departments is instead of having one MSBU, Metropolitan Service Benefit Unit, which was $125, there are two MSBUs, one for each of the two fire districts. And they're different rates, but they're very similar nonetheless. So that's a fixed rate based on, okay, it's a residential property, so it's this much. If it's a business, then there's equivalent residential units, or it's based on a square footage formula. Either one works out to be very similar in nature. The second part of that equation is what's called an MSTU, Metropolitan Service Taxing Unit. This is basically the ad valorem portion of the tax. How much it's based on the value of the home. So if the ad valorem portion would be for every $1,000 you pay 30 cents. I think it is in the villages. It's ridiculously low, and it's about $3 per thousand or something like that. I think it's about $3 per thousand in the county.
16 hours.
So they're taxes. There's no way around it. They are taxes. We call them what they are. I'm not afraid to call a tax a tax. So this past week, the county got notice from the Department of Revenue in the state, and this is all available on the county website. It's in the agenda for Tuesday's meeting. They got notice that the submitted MSTUs for both fire districts have been disapproved. Okay, the state has not approved them. The Department of Revenue hasn't approved them. The logic behind it is that a tax increase of more than 10% requires a unanimous vote by the board. And these received a 4-to-1 vote. And the Department of Revenue saying, well, last year the tax was 0, and this year it's whatever the value is, so it's more than 110%. So it has to have a unanimous vote. This is unfortunate. This was, I saw it as political grandstanding by one of the county commissioners. He said he was supporting the firefighters. Well, guess what? It just cost us 6 firefighters on the county. This is about $1 million hit in the fire department's budget now for Sumter County if this doesn't get resolved. That equates to about 6 firefighters not being hired that were planned on being hired. It's going to impact the staffing on an ambulance, and it's unfortunate. The interesting part about this is there is no state statute that covers this. This is a policy and a practice that has been carried out by the Department of Revenue in the state. So which way does it go? Is it really, it's not a law, okay, that it has to be done like this, but it's their interpretation. This has gone, the lawyers are involved, and we'll see where it ends up. They're making plans for, for whichever way this goes to make sure things are covered. But, it could mean not hiring 6 firefighters in Sumter County. I don't know what the impact is in the villages. It's it's about a $300,000 impact for VPSD, but it's a $1 million impact plus for Sumter County Fire. On a $40 million budget, that's 2.5%. That's a big hit. So we'll see where that one plays out. Let's see. Jim says, Don, are you moving into your new house? No, I am not. I have to live within my district, District 5, to serve in my seat as a county commissioner. So I will continue to live in District 5. My residence will be here in District 5, which is basically between 44 and 466A. It includes some of the properties along 44, including Continental Country Club, and it includes parts of CDD 7, which are north of Colony. And it goes from the Lake County line out to Powell Road. So I have to live in that area. Debbie appears to have other plans. We're working through those. But but I'm not moving there permanently yet. It's a little disheartening. There were things, personal items that have occurred in this house that, we lost our son here. It's coming up on 3 years ago. David passed away in our house, and Debbie is still having troubles adjusting with it. She sits in the living room, and she looks over and she sees where David used to sit, and it has an impact on her. So, it wasn't the original plan. We were going to rent it out, but she keeps telling me she wants to move in there. 20 years in the Navy, it's not the first night we spent apart. And I'm looking at it as I'll get some better sleep because I don't have to listen to her snoring. Anyway, where are we at on time? We're at hour and 5. I got one more question. We'll jump over to it because this is an easy one. There's more. Okay. Gotta hit the transition button. Okay. So this is from Thomas. And he says, "Good morning, Don. I'm a longtime weekly YouTube viewer of yours. Please keep up the great work. Thank you. Can you please help explain the grid bore holes as shown in the attached satellite photo inside Sumter County, just to the east of the village of Water's Edge?" Well, Thomas, if you go, and if you're wondering where he's talking about, it's the little white dots that you see all through here. And if you go back over the years of, if you use Google Earth Pro, you can go back and look at the historical photographs of the aerial photographs of the area, and everywhere down here, this has happened. So those are on, if you take any 4 square dots, that encompasses 1 acre. They do the borings on a 1 acre grid like that. They are looking for organic material. The reason for this is that organic material, as it decays, will cause the ground to shift. Excuse me. And when the ground shifts, foundations crack. And obviously, that's not good. So they do this. This is part of what your bond money is paying for. Is they do these borings. They look for any organics, and I don't know the depth that they go down to. It's pretty significant. And if they find, a peat moss field, or maybe there's a clump of buried trees that are slowly decaying, then they will excavate that area and remove the organic material and then backfill it with clean, so that we don't get any settling. You don't hear about foundation crackings here in the villages very much because of this. Yeah, and when I first saw it, I scratched my head. I ended up talking with somebody from Rainey Construction, one of the managers there. He gave me a tour of cheapers when Newell was under construction. We went out through there, and he showed me around, showed me all that they were doing in Newell and Citrus Grove. It was pretty amazing. It was a great education. But this is a critical part of how the development is prepped. Part of the reason why it takes almost 2 years from groundbreaking to houses being present is because they do so much work, and we do have a very stable environment with drainage and everything else. So that's that. It's a common question. I see it a lot, it is something interesting you don't regularly see. I will tell you, my house that I had in Haines City. Haines City is, if you go down 27, okay, continue following it down, it goes through Claremont. It eventually crosses I-4, go another 10 miles south of I-4, and if you sneeze, you pass through Haines City. Well, I say that. It's been 8 years since I've been back there to see, since we sold the house. But if you, that's Haines City. We had a house there. It was obvious when I had tile floors put in that this was not done. There was some cracking in the foundation. It went from the front door to the rear lanai. It was about 1/2 inch wide, and it had to be filled in before they could tile the floor. This house, when we put tile in, oh my gosh, it's been 8. No, it's been more than that. 9 years ago. Yeah, we put in the tile about a year after we moved in. We had the carpet ripped up. There was no cracking in the foundation. It was, solid as a rock. Well, it's concrete, it is rock. But anyway, so it's an important aspect of how the homes are built here, doing these borings. All right, so that's all I have for questions from y'all. Anybody else got any questions last minute? if not, again, as I always say, enjoy life. Last week was a real shocker to me. Losing a friend. I've been blessed living here in the villages. I've only lost a few friends, just because of it's our age. This retirement community. I always say, though, people don't come here to die; they come here to live, and live life to its fullest. You don't know what tomorrow brings. You don't know if there is going to be a tomorrow. So live life, love, enjoy it. And Mark Edwards wants to know, how thick is the slab? It's between about 6 and 12 inches thick, depending on the area of the slab. But anyway, again, enjoy life. It is, we're very blessed to live where we live in the United States. We're very blessed to live here in the villages, and very fortunate. Make the best of it. Enjoy life. And until next time, I will see you next week. Don't forget, 149 is up on the website. It's there for you to watch and enjoy. 150 will be out next Monday, maybe Tuesday for YouTube, but Monday definitely. I say that, good Lord willing, the creek don't rise, because it may rise this week with this storm coming through. I still got video to shoot, so I'm going to be very busy tomorrow shooting video for it. But we'll premiere it at the live event, and we'll have a good time, and we're going to party our brains out. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Come join me on Monday, October 14th at the Belglade Country Club for the VPSD Firefighters Thanksgiving Day Dinner Fundraiser. We're going to party from 6 p.m. until they throw us out with the music of Crimson Sunset as they rock to the music of the 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. So come on out and support our firefighters. If you'd like to help with the fundraiser or with providing dinner to the firefighters, contact me at goldwingnut.com/Thanksgiving or email me at thanksgiving@goldwingnut.com. We'll see you there.